Welcome to City Issues, a series of discussions with Mayor Randy McClement and key city staff, designed to provide useful information on a variety of city topics and answer some common questions. I'm Patti Mullins, Public Information Coordinator for the City of Frederick, and this is City Issues.
A sort of transportation park. It's a multimodal ability to get people through.
We do want hygiene. The Frederick Community Action Agency has been serving a small population of chronically poor and homeless in Frederick for 48 years. The agency operates a soup kitchen, provides health care, limited housing, and essential human services. One of its most important functions is to administer a food bank to help those in need, not just in winter, but all year round. Mayor Randy McClement and I are here with Sarah McAleavy, the Supervisor of the Food and Nutrition and Shelter Services for the Frederick Community Action Agency, here in the City of Frederick. She's here to talk about the agency's food bank. Welcome.
Thanks, Patti. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Good. Frederick Community Action Agency is an important part of the city services that are provided. And, you know, talking about the food bank and food services, you are our local expert on that. So thank you very much for coming here to sort of help the public audience know what we do. So with that, why don't you start off telling us how many people use the food bank?
We serve approximately 700 to 800 families a month. They could be coming one time, or they could be coming every single month. They're allowed to come twice a month, and some people use it for that, and some people we only see one time and then we never see them again.
What's some of the clientele? I mean, is it all City of Frederick? Is it the county?
We serve the entire county, so all of Frederick County, and that's the only requirement we have, is that you're a Frederick County resident. And it can be anybody from your neighbor to somebody who's homeless and living in a tent.
Do they show any address or documentation? Do they have to have any materials?
Absolutely, absolutely. We accept, obviously, a government-issued ID with your permanent address. But we can also take an electric bill or a copy of your lease to show that you live in Frederick County.
And for the homeless?
They use our address primarily, so that would be their address on file.
How have you seen over the years, because you've been doing this for a little bit, over the years, how have you seen the needs change?
Well, of course, during the downfall of the economy and everything a few years back, our numbers escalated quickly. When gas prices were over $4 a gallon, people who have to commute to work started using the food bank. Food is kind of the one thing in your household you can actually play with that bill. You have to pay your mortgage, you have to pay your electric bill, and all your other bills, your car insurance. But your food bill is one that kind of goes by the wayside if you don't have the money. That's kind of the last on your list. So, of course, so we've seen the peaks and ebbs as the economy has peaked and ebbed itself. Right now we're kind of in a good spot. We're back to that 700 range each month, but a few years back we were close to 1,000 every month.
Was that about the highest you'd seen it since you've been around?
Yes. When I first started, which has been over a decade, we were about 350 families a month. So we've certainly seen the economy play that huge role on these families in Frederick County.
How do people find you? Do you ask them how they know to come to you, or is it word of mouth? Or
we obviously have flyers out at Health Department, Department of Social Services, and that kind of thing. A lot of word of mouth, a lot of referrals from other agencies that are helping these families through their hardship.
Now, we talked about the numbers. With that comes stock and supply. It just doesn't magically appear on a little shelf down there. So tell us a little bit how you go about getting donations and the food supply that people come to get.
A lot of our faith-based community holds drives every Sunday or whenever they meet. And So they bring those donations to us. A lot of schools do food drives this time of year, Kids Helping Kids. A lot of agencies throughout the county, a lot of private businesses, they'll hold a food drive. And we are the recipients of those food drives usually, which is wonderful. But there's the private citizen who drops off a box of cereal. Wonderful. The mom who bought, this huge pack of something at Costco and her family did not like it. It could be canned chicken or something wonderful like that, that we will stock our shelves with. If, for example, over the summer when donations are low, people aren't thinking of feeding the hungry. They're going on vacation, they're not in school, they're not doing scouts, not attending church even so often. We may put out a request to the community through media sources that we are low and need help stocking our shelves. And I will say that Frederick is amazing. If I put out word that we are in need of something, the very next day I have an abundance. So, and that has always been so amazing to me here in Frederick County, that if you tell somebody that there's a need, people step up. They really want to help their neighbors. And they may just not have been thinking about it, but you put it out there and they come up in droves. It's really wonderful.
I agree with you. That's one of the great characteristics of our town, is the fact that, when times get tough, our citizenry actually stand up. I mean, we have 68,000 residents here, and everybody's not focused in on one thing. But like you said, if you put out the call and that's something someone is interested in helping out, and they don't think on a regular basis, I've seen them. And I've also seen our businesses who do that. I remember I came down one time when you said, hey, Wegmans is dropping off a truck. I'm thinking there's these little box truck pull up and come on, help us unload it. Okay, and I get there and there's 18-wheeler full of food, and there's all kinds of people, volunteers, helping to unload this 18-wheeler full of supplies and groceries and food. Just amazing, the differences in our community, how they stand up and do this.
Is there one particular type of item that is most needed or most wanted? Do they get to pick off your shelves?
Both. We do a prepackaged bag, and what we put into those bags is the stuff we really want families to have. The canned vegetables, meats, peanut butter, pasta, fruit. We allow everybody to choose their cereal because everybody has a preference on cereal. Tomato sauce is tomato sauce, pretty much. So they get to choose their cereal. They're given a frozen meat. It could be hot dogs, could be, a 10-pound bag of chicken. You don't know. It's what's donated or what we can afford to purchase. Then they're allowed to shop on the other side of the food bank. And what they get to shop is, right now, for example, we have an abundance of fresh fruit and vegetables. Some of the large orchards and gardens, they're kind of wrapping up the season from summer, fruits and vegetables. And we get to have the reward of that. Yesterday, somebody dropped off like 10 cases of squash, which is wonderful.
That's great.
And it's fresh. It's straight from the garden. They just picked them. But they also get to choose from their bread items, which are donated through local grocery stores such as Costco and Target. They get to choose baby items if they happen to have a baby. A lot of people forget about babies. Not everybody qualifies for WIC. A middle-class family that's struggling may not, have that opportunity to get WIC, and so it's great that they can come and get baby food. Hygiene items, a lot of people don't think of those. That's always in need. They're very expensive. If you go to the store, that's something that we don't get much of, but we do appreciate. And then there's all the condiments, the cake mixes,
Are there items?
Everything that gets donated.
Are there items that you don't want? I mean, you take anything, or is there certain things?
We take anything, absolutely, unless it's open. We don't want anything that's been
So not just food, but you do want hygiene items.
Hygiene items, household cleaners.
I see.
Absolutely.
I thought
those things are rather expensive. People don't think about them when you think of a food bank.
Right.
You think of food. But yes, those laundry detergent, that kind of stuff is very expensive.
It is. That's good to know. So for people who might be hearing about this for the first time, what's the best way to help?
Well, they can obviously donate, and it can just be one can of soup. Every can counts. We have 24/7 drop-off on our loading dock, which is monitored by cameras. I know a lot of people are worried about that. But we do have staff at our agency 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So anything that gets dropped off even in the middle of the night will then be brought into the building, and within a reasonable amount of time. But they can also volunteer. And I'm in charge of volunteer coordination also at the agency. So they can contact me directly, and they can volunteer days or evenings as a group or an individual.
There's one other thing that since you got you here and give the opportunity, talk about what happens around Thanksgiving every year.
We do a turkey distribution at Key Stadium. This year it's going to be Tuesday, November 22nd. It's an all-day affair, as you know, because you come out and help us gladly. We give out 1,000 turkeys to the first 1,000 families that come. And it's a wonderful all-day event. And we purchase everything from Wegmans. The turkey truck shows up just before we start handing them out. And so that's always a good thing.
You always look for volunteers for that
Always
as well.
looking for volunteers for that, absolutely.
Well, thank you for giving us that explanation, and I hope you'll have plenty of donations.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Sarah.